2,000 years ago, the most powerful man in the world sat down every night and wrote in a private journal. Not for publication, not for history, for himself. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, commanded legions, controlled an empire, held absolute power. And every night, he reminded himself that none of it mattered, that he was going to die, that power was temporary, that the only thing he controlled was his response to life. These private thoughts became meditations, the most powerful book on Stoicism ever written. Not because it was meant to teach, because it was meant to survive. Today you're going to learn 10 lessons from Marcus Aurelius that will make you unbreakable. Not comfortable, not peaceful, unbreakable. These aren't gentle philosophies. These are the mental strategies of a man who faced war, plague, betrayal, and death, and never broke. The tools he used to stay sane while the world collapsed around him. Drop this if you're ready. I am unbreakable. Let's begin. Lesson 1. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you find strength. This is the foundation of Stoicism, the dichotomy of control. There are things you control: your thoughts, your actions, your responses, your character. That's it. Everything else you don't control. Other people, external events, outcomes, the weather, the economy, other people's opinions, death. None of it. And spending energy trying to control what you can't control is the source of all suffering. Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome. He had more external power than almost anyone in history. And he knew he couldn't control most of his life. Barbarians invaded. Plagues killed millions. His own son was corrupt. His wife possibly unfaithful. Advisors betrayed him. Wars never ended. He couldn't control any of it, but he could control his response, his judgment of these events, his decision about what they meant. That was his power. And it was enough. Because the person who controls their mind controls their life. Even if they control nothing else. Modern people do the opposite. They try to control everything external. Other people's behavior, future outcomes, past events through regret, the world's opinion of them. They exhaust themselves trying to control the uncontrollable. Then they neglect the one thing they can control: their own mind, their own response, their own character. This is insanity. This is guaranteed suffering. Marcus Aurelius watched people do this constantly. Destroy themselves trying to control what they couldn't, while ignoring what they could. Don't be them. Control your mind. Accept everything else. Affirmation: I control only my response. Lesson 2. The obstacle is the way. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is Marcus Aurelius's most famous insight. Every obstacle you face isn't blocking your path. It is your path. The difficulty is the training. The challenge is the opportunity. The problem is the teacher. You don't overcome obstacles despite them. You overcome obstacles through them, by using them, by transforming them into fuel. Marcus faced constant obstacles: wars, betrayals, plagues, political chaos. He didn't avoid them. He couldn't. He was emperor. The obstacles came to him, so he used them. Each war taught him leadership. Each betrayal taught him wisdom. Each plague taught him mortality. The obstacles became his education. This applies to everything. You want to build strength? The weight is the obstacle. But lifting the weight is the way you build strength. The obstacle is the method. You want to build courage? Fear is the obstacle. But facing fear is the way you build courage. The obstacle is the path. You want to build character? Difficulty is the obstacle. But enduring difficulty is the way you build character. The obstacle is the training. Stop seeing obstacles as problems. They're not problems. They're opportunities disguised as problems. They're the universe giving you exactly what you need to grow. If you're smart enough to use them. Most people avoid obstacles. They take the easy path, the comfortable route, the path of least resistance. Then they wonder why they're weak, why they haven't grown, why life overwhelms them. Because they avoided the obstacles, which means they avoided the growth. Marcus Aurelius couldn't avoid obstacles, so he transformed them. You can avoid obstacles, but if you do, you avoid becoming strong. The obstacle is the way. Always. Use it. Affirmation: I use obstacles as fuel. Lesson 3. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Memento Mori. Remember, you must die. Marcus Aurelius started every day by reminding himself he would die. Not to be morbid, to be awake. Because when you remember death, life becomes urgent, important, precious. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop holding grudges. You stop delaying what matters. You stop caring about trivial things. Because death strips away everything trivial and shows you what's real. Marcus wrote constantly about death. He watched people die around him. Plague killed millions during his reign. Soldiers died in wars he commanded. Friends died. Family died. He knew he would die. Soon. Any day. He didn't know when. Nobody does. So he lived like every day might be his last. Not recklessly. Deliberately. Intentionally. Doing what mattered. Saying what needed to be said. Being who he wanted to be. Because tomorrow might not come. And if tomorrow doesn't come, at least today was lived fully. You're going to die. Maybe today. Maybe this year. Definitely before you're ready. This isn't pessimism. This is reality. And reality is power. When you accept death, you stop fearing it. And when you stop fearing death, you stop fearing life. You stop avoiding risk. You stop playing it safe. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. Because the perfect moment is now. The only moment you have is now. Everything else is memory or imagination. So what matters now? What needs to be done now? What needs to be said now? Who do you need to be now? Because later might not exist. Affirmation: I live now, not later. Lesson 4. The happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. External events don't determine your happiness. Your thoughts about external events determine your happiness. This is why two people can experience the same situation, and one is miserable while the other is fine. Not because the situation is different, because their thoughts about the situation are different. Marcus Aurelius understood this completely. He knew happiness wasn't about what happened to you. It was about how you thought about what happened to you. This means you have complete control over your happiness. Not through controlling external events, through controlling your interpretation of external events. Someone insults you. That's an external event you can't control. But you thought about that insult? Completely under your control. You can think, this person is right, I'm worthless. Or you can think, this person is struggling and lashing out, it has nothing to do with me. Same insult. Different thoughts. Different emotional outcomes. You choose which thought to have. Which means you choose how you feel. Most people don't realize this. They think events cause emotions directly. Something bad happens, they must feel bad. Something good happens, they must feel good. But that's not how it works. Events trigger thoughts. Thoughts trigger emotions. You can't always control events, but you can always control thoughts, which means you can always control emotions. Not suppress them. Control them by choosing better thoughts, more accurate thoughts, more useful thoughts. This is the key to happiness. Not changing your circumstances, changing how you think about your circumstances. Marcus Aurelius lived this daily. That's why he stayed sane while ruling an empire in chaos. Affirmation: I choose empowering thoughts. Lesson 5. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop debating. Stop discussing. Stop planning. Start doing. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about philosophy for academic purposes. He wrote it to live it, to remind himself daily what to do, how to act, who to be. And then he did it. He acted. He didn't just think about virtue. He practiced virtue. He didn't just admire courage. He demonstrated courage. He didn't just discuss wisdom. He applied wisdom. Philosophy wasn't theory. It was practice. Modern culture loves to talk. Everyone has opinions. Everyone debates. Everyone discusses what should be done. But nobody does anything. Everyone knows what's right, but nobody does what's right. Everyone talks about discipline, but lives without discipline. Everyone discusses courage, but avoids risk. Everyone debates virtue, but acts selfishly. This is worthless. Marcus Aurelius would call this exactly what it is. Cowardice disguised as thoughtfulness. You know what you should do. Do it. You know who you should be. Be it. Stop talking. Start acting. This applies to everything. You know you should exercise. Stop debating which program is best. Start exercising. You know you should build a skill. Stop researching the perfect approach. Start building. You know you should have that difficult conversation. Stop rehearsing. Start speaking. You know you should take that risk. Stop calculating. Start moving. Action reveals truth. Discussion hides from it. Marcus Aurelius acted constantly. In war, in politics, in personal life. He didn't wait for perfect information. He acted with what he had and adjusted based on results. That's wisdom, not endless planning. Acting, learning, adjusting, acting again. Affirmation, I act now. Lesson 6. Confine yourself to the present. Past is memory. Future is imagination. Neither exists. The only thing that exists is now. This moment, this breath, this action. Marcus Aurelius understood that anxiety comes from living in the future. Worry about things that haven't happened. Depression comes from living in the past. Regret about things that did happen. Both are suffering about things that don't exist. The cure is staying present. Dealing with what's actually in front of you. Right now. Not what was. Not what might be. What is. Marcus faced constant reasons to worry about the future. Wars coming. Plagues spreading. Betrayals possible. He could have spent every moment anxious about what might happen. Instead, he dealt with what was happening. When the war came, he fought it. When the plague arrived, he managed it. When betrayal occurred, he handled it. But he didn't suffer them before they happened. He stayed present, dealt with reality, not possibility. This saved his sanity, because reality is always manageable. Possibility is infinite and overwhelming. You do this constantly. You worry about things that might happen, most of which never happen. You regret things that did happen and can't be changed. Both are wasting present moments on non-existent problems. Marcus's solution: deal with what's in front of you. Right now. Can you handle this moment? Yes. You can always handle this single moment. It's when you add all possible future moments that you become overwhelmed. So don't. Stay here. Handle this. Then handle the next moment when it arrives. One moment at a time. That's all life ever is. One moment at a time. And each moment is manageable if you stay in it. Affirmation, I am here now. Lesson 7. Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny. Amor, Fati. Love your fate. Whatever happened to you, whatever is happening to you, whatever will happen to you, love it. Not because it's pleasant, because it's yours. It's your life. Fighting it is fighting reality. And fighting reality is guaranteed suffering. Acceptance isn't resignation. It's power. The power to stop wasting energy on what is and start using that energy to respond effectively. Marcus Aurelius didn't choose to be emperor during Rome's worst crisis. Barbarians invading. Plagues devastating. Corruption everywhere. He could have spent his reign wishing things were different, fighting his fate, resenting his burden. Instead, he accepted it, loved it, made it meaningful, because it was his life, his challenge, his opportunity to demonstrate virtue. He didn't get to choose the circumstances, but he chose how to meet them. That's Amor, Fati. Loving what is because transforming it starts with accepting it. This applies to everything. You didn't choose your parents, your genetics, your childhood, your past traumas. Fighting these facts is pointless. They're done. They're real. They're part of your story. You can spend your life resenting them, or you can accept them and use them. Transform them into fuel, into wisdom, into strength. The person who accepts their past can move forward. The person who fights their past stays stuck. Marcus Aurelius accepted everything, and that acceptance freed him to respond powerfully. Not because circumstances were easy, because he stopped fighting what he couldn't change. Affirmation, I love my fate. Lesson 8. Look well into thyself. There's a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. The answer isn't outside. It's inside. You have everything you need already. Not external resources. Internal resources. Character, courage, wisdom, resilience, discipline. These live inside you. Always available. Always accessible. You just have to look, to remember, to access. Marcus Aurelius knew this. External power could be taken. Internal power couldn't. Nobody could remove his character. Nobody could destroy his courage. Nobody could steal his wisdom. These were his. Always. Modern people look outside constantly. For validation. For answers. For strength. For meaning. They think the solution is external. More money. Different circumstances. Other people changing. But Marcus knew better. The solution is always internal. External changes come and go. Internal strength remains. So you build internal strength. Through difficulty. Through practice. Through conscious choice. You build character by acting with character. You build courage by facing fear. You build wisdom by learning from experience. These can't be given. They must be built. From inside. This is the most important lesson. Because circumstances will always be difficult. Life is hard. People will betray you. Events will go wrong. Pain is guaranteed. But if you build internal strength, you're unbreakable. External circumstances can't break you, because your strength doesn't depend on circumstances. It depends on you, on your character, on your choices, on your response. That's yours. Always. Nobody can take it unless you give it away. So don't give it away. Build it. Protect it. Use it. That's real power. The power Marcus Aurelius had. Not because he was emperor, because he was unbreakable inside. Affirmation: my strength is within. Lesson 9. Very little is needed to make a happy life. Is all within yourself in your way of thinking. Happiness isn't about having more. It's about needing less. Not because poverty is noble. Because needing things makes you vulnerable. Needing validation makes you controllable. Needing comfort makes you weak. Needing outcomes makes you anxious. But needing nothing while appreciating everything, that's freedom. That's power. That's what Marcus Aurelius understood. He had everything: wealth, power, status, and he needed none of it. He would have been fine without it. That's why he could use it wisely. Because he wasn't attached. This is radical. Most people build their entire happiness on external things. Relationships, jobs, possessions, status, outcomes. Then those things become vulnerabilities. Because they can be lost. And when they're lost, happiness is lost. Marcus built his happiness on one thing: his character, his response to life. That couldn't be lost. So his happiness was secure. Not because he had everything, because he needed nothing. He appreciated his family, but didn't need them to be happy. He appreciated his power, but didn't need it to be complete. He appreciated his life, but didn't fear death. That's freedom. You can build the same freedom by questioning what you think you need. Do you need other people's approval? No. Do you need perfect circumstances? No. Do you need more money? Probably not. Do you need different problems? No. You need character. You need to respond well to whatever happens. That's it. Everything else is bonus. Everything else is extra. Everything else is temporary. But character? Character is permanent. Character is yours. Character is enough. Build that. Everything else becomes optional. When everything is optional, you're free. That was Marcus Aurelius' secret. Affirmation: I need nothing but character. Lesson 10. Death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back. Death is coming. For everyone. For you. For everyone you love. This isn't negotiable. This isn't avoidable. This is certain. You can spend your life fearing it, running from it, pretending it's not real. Or you can accept it, face it, smile at it, because death isn't the enemy. Fearing death is the enemy. Fear of death makes you avoid living, makes you play it safe, makes you small. Accepting death makes you free, makes you bold, makes you alive. Marcus Aurelius thought about death constantly, not morbidly, philosophically. He knew it was coming. He didn't know when, so he prepared, not by trying to prevent it, by living in a way that death couldn't diminish, by building character that death couldn't destroy, by creating meaning that death couldn't erase. When death came, he was ready, not because he wanted to die, because he had lived fully, nothing left undone, nothing left unsaid, nothing left unlived. That's how you beat death, not by avoiding it, by living so completely that death becomes acceptable. You're going to die. Everyone you love is going to die. This is the most certain thing in your life, more certain than anything else. So what are you doing with the time you have? Are you living? Actually living? Doing what matters? Being who you want to be? Saying what needs to be said? Or are you waiting? Playing it safe? Avoiding risk? Delaying life until circumstances are perfect? Because circumstances will never be perfect. And death isn't waiting for perfect circumstances. Death comes when it comes. The only question is, will you have lived? Marcus Aurelius lived fully, as emperor, as philosopher, as man. When death came, he smiled back, because he had nothing left to do. He had lived. Affirmation: I smile at death. You've just learned 10 Stoic lessons from Marcus Aurelius that will make you unbreakable. Control your mind, not events. Use obstacles as fuel. Remember, death makes life urgent. Choose empowering thoughts. Act instead of debating. Stay present. Love your fate. Build internal strength. Need nothing but character. Smile at death. These aren't comfortable lessons. They're not meant to be. They're meant to make you unbreakable. to give you the mental tools Marcus Aurelius used to stay sane while the world collapsed around him. Marcus Aurelius didn't teach Stoicism in classroom. He lived it on battlefields, in plague-ridden cities, in political chaos, while betrayed by people he trusted, while watching his children die, while knowing his own death was coming. He lived these principles under the worst possible circumstances, and they worked. They kept him sane. They kept him strong. They kept him unbreakable. Not because life was easy, because his mind was trained, because his character was built, because his response was controlled. That's power. That's freedom. That's what these lessons give you. If you practice them, think deeper, feel less, know more. This is the hidden mindset.